Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cinematic Relief, where we're going to talk about a bunch of DC stuff. So, I watched the Snyder Cut. Chris did not watch the Snyder Cut. We both watched Batman Dying is Easy. So, if you want to hear our thoughts about that, that'll be later, because right now I'm going to talk about the Snyder Cut. I'm sure everybody knows. But for those of you who don't, the Justice League movie that came out in 2018 was being made by Zack Snyder. He had an unfortunate, tragic death in the family. He had to stop directing it. He gave directing over to Joss Whedon, and Joss Whedon, by Zack Snyder and Zack Snyder's followers' account, ruined the film. So Zack Snyder... DC and HBO Max allowed him to remake the movie and put it back together the way he wanted to do it, except it's 4 hours long for some reason. And I'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, that released, and that's what I watched. And
I'm Lightning.
Oh, did I not introduce us?
No, that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
I
Thunder.
was just being funny.
And he's Lightning.
And I'm Lightning. And you sound so excited.
Okay, so here's the deal, right? I didn't mind the Justice League movie.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good. I would give it a solid 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Right? And is the Snyder Cut better? Is it a better film? Right? Sure. I'll sit here and say it's a better film. Was it necessary? Absolutely not.
Did it add anything to the story? The canonical DC EU story.
Did it add anything to the story? I mean,
see, the fact that you have to think about it in 4 hours worth of film. But go ahead, if you have an answer.
No, I mean no, because this Zack Snyder versus DC movies thing is done. That's over now. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
But we did it this time. We remade the Justice League movie, which is a movie that takes place in the middle of all these movies, you know? Okay. Let me back up. Here's what it did right.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot more Black and Asian representation in this film.
Okay.
Which is awesome. As far as a human being, as far as being a cool human being goes, Zack Snyder seems pretty cool. He especially compared to Joss Whedon. Zack Snyder seems like a really cool dude who's always, donating his money and time to organizations and making sure that everyone gets a fair whatever. I think he might be a terrible filmmaker. I'm sorry. I don't love his films. And this is one of them. The Justice League movie is 2 hours long, and the new one is 4 hours long, which made me think that the original 2-hour run of the Justice League movie is going to be up in there some way or another.
Yeah.
Not the case.
Okay. See, I'd prefer that.
Right.
It sounds like he did exactly what he set out to do.
Yeah. He definitely added a lot. Here's where my opinion comes in. As far as this being not technically a director's cut goes, I feel like he shouldn't have been allowed to add stuff. I feel like he should have been limited to what was already filmed or what was planned on being filmed. But he did a lot of fan servicey stuff, like, spoiler alert, Martian Manhunter shows up in this film. Martian Manhunter was not in the original Justice League, and he was not planned to be in the Justice League. And the character who turned into Martian Manhunter was a long-running fan theory, this guy might be Martian Manhunter. So there's a lot of fan service stuff. The movie had no reason to be 4 hours long. Every fucking establishing shot was 3 times longer than it needed to be. There was a couple scenes that were just completely pointless. There was a scene where Batman has just unsuccessfully convinced Aquaman to join the Justice League, and then Aquaman fucks off, and that's where the scene ends last time. Except this time, Batman turns around, and there's a village of Polish people who sing a whole song at him. And that's all that's in the movie, and I don't know why we had to do it. It was neat, I guess. Wholly unnecessary. Did not have to be in the film. Another thing, and I know I'm jumping very far ahead, but there was 3 after the credits scenes, except they were not after the credits. They were before the credits.
Oh, that sounds like just scenes in a movie.
Which makes the ending of the movie really weird. I'm watching them, I'm like, these are after the credit scenes, right? But because there was no credits, it just hard cut from the end of the Justice League movie to these 3 after the credit scenes. I was like, these are no longer bonuses. These are this is how this movie ends.
Right.
And this movie ends pretty weird. There was some dialogue changes that didn't make any sense. They changed Diana's best line, in my opinion. There's a line where Batman is working on a plane he's fixing for the whole movie that never comes up again, except it does in this one. And he says something like, I spent a lot of money on the security system. And in the old version, she said, yeah, it looked expensive, as in I destroyed that shit. And in the new one, she said, it looks like you got your money's worth because it took me about an hour to hack it all. And I was like, okay, sure, I guess. I don't know why we had to change that. It was funny before, and now it's just not funny.
Yeah.
Changing the line took out the joke, which maybe he doesn't want jokes. But he took out the scene where Aquaman is sitting on the lasso, which I thought was a pretty cool scene. You like Superman. You're a big Superman fan.
Yeah.
And you've been vocal about this before. You've been upset with the most recent live-action depictions of Superman, and I'm right there with you. And every time that gets brought up, I say, have you seen the Justice League movie? Because Henry Cavill puts on the best performance I've ever seen him do as Superman in that film, and everything I was referring to is not present in this film. He took out all the... You know how in films when something happens and then we're in the next scene and something happened in between that we didn't see?
Yeah.
Like Thor is... Thor lands on the planet in Ragnarok, right? And then he gets captured, and then the next scene is he's going through that Willy Wonka thing. And you don't see him being brought to that chair, right? But you assume you're like, oh, I know what happened.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in this film. He fills in all the blanks. There's a scene where in the original they land on Kent Farm, and then in the next scene he has a different shirt on, and they're in a different part of Kent Farm, and they're talking about a thing. But in this film, they land, they go in the house. She's like, here's this shirt. It's like, I don't need all this. I get wanting to fix your movie that you think was destroyed by another human, but I don't get the 4 hours-ness of it. Also, it was cut up into parts.
Oh.
It was 8 parts.
Do they think they're endgame in this bitch?
It was literally like part 1 and then the title. Like black screen, white text, part 1, the title of part 1. 20 minutes later, part 2, the title of part 2. And the parts...
Is that added to the time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's dumb.
Sounds
like you just really filled out this thing so it was 4 hours long. Can't wait till somebody edits it down so they're like, here's the 2.5-hour version.
That's what Nando V Movies was saying. He was saying that when this inevitably... the Snyder Cut inevitably gets edited down for TV, that's going to be the best version of this Justice League movie to watch. The Snyder version that doesn't have all the chaff, you know? Because there was some things he changed that I was like, okay, whatever. There was some things he added that I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like the one Green Lantern scene that's in like a flashback. He got a little more screen time, which was pretty cool because there's not a Green Lantern in this film, essentially. But there is one, but he was in like a shot, and now he gets like his whole scene. But there was some stuff that he changed and took out that I was just like, I don't know. And there was a lot of, also it was really gory for some reason.
Okay.
There's a part, it's at the very end, so spoilers, but Superman is on top of Steppenwolf and he's punching him over and over again. He's punched him like 40 times at this point. He just keeps punching him because that's what Superman does, I guess. And a boom tube opens up, and you see Apocalypse, the planet, and you see Darkseid, and he's gonna like come through, I guess. And Superman takes Steppenwolf, and it also so much fucking slow motion in this film because Zack Snyder loves slow motion. Also upped the runtime. He throws Steppenwolf at the portal as if to say like, we're done with this trash, you can have him back, right? But then as Steppenwolf's body is flying through the air going through the portal, Wonder Woman comes up and cuts his head off. And then him and his head go through the portal, and then it's just like a headless Steppenwolf, and Darkseid's like, oh. And I was just like, why did she do that? What was the point of that?
Right.
Why is she so bloodthirsty in this one? I don't get it. Also, Batman said the F word for the first time on camera.
That's good.
Which
I've seen Robin do it. Might as well watch him do it.
I know, right? Well, yeah. Bruce Wayne technically says the F word in Titans, but it's not really Bruce Wayne. It's like a figment of Robin's imagination or whatever. Nobody watched Titans. But I have to talk about these wild ass after the credits scenes. So the first one is the same after the credit scene that was in the last one, where Deathstroke goes on a boat, he finds Lex Luthor, and they're talking. They changed the dialogue for some reason. In the last one, they teased the Legion of Doom, but in this one, he says he's like Deathstroke, Batman's name is Bruce Wayne, and that's how it ends, which I thought was weird. But then the next, have you seen Batman vs. Superman?
I've just seen that one horrendous Doomsday scene.
Okay, so in Batman vs. Superman, Batman has a nightmare, and it's called Nightmare, like with a K, like Nightmare. And in the nightmare, Superman is evil, and it's like a post-apocalyptic, like everything's a desert. He's got a gun, he's got like goggles and stuff, and he's fighting Batman. One of the after credit scenes took place in that universe again.
Okay.
But instead of just Batman, it was the Flash, but specifically the version of the Flash that you see time traveling in Batman vs. Superman. It was Cyborg, Mira, the female Aquaman character, and the Joker. But it was Jared Leto's the Joker from Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Except he looked different. Did you see the pictures of...
Yeah, with long hair.
Yeah. I gotta say, Jared Leto still is the fucking worst Joker I've ever goddamn seen.
I mean, not to segue too much into what we're going to talk about next, but I've seen somebody who they found off the street who did a far better Joker. Maybe one of my favorites.
And by someone off the street, you mean the director of that film.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'll talk about that soon, though. The Jared Leto sucks so much, dude. It was really bad, and he sucks. And it was just an extended scene of Batman and Joker. It's weird because Cyborg comes and he's like, they're going to find us. We got to go. And then he has like I shit you not, like 5.5 minute conversation with the Joker where Joker like not only is acting weird and talking weird, but he's like making weird sex jokes, and they're like taunting each other about like the people they've lost. Like, he was like, when I killed Jason Todd, and he was like, oh, well, when Harley Quinn died, and I was there for that, and stuff like that.
So, hold on.
Yeah.
Time out.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn's dead.
In the Nightmare verse.
Oh, okay.
That only exists in Bruce Wayne's head, because after that, he wakes up, and then there's another after the credits scene where he talks to Martian Manhunter, and it's super weird, because Martian Manhunter's just like, I'm Martian Manhunter. Earth's heroes are heroes again. Goodbye. And then the credits. And you're like, the Martian Manhunter, you just said some shit that didn't matter. Why did you show up at the end of this movie? But, and then Batman threatens to kill Joker. And that's when he says fuck. Because he's like, when I kill you, and mark my words, I will fucking kill you. And that's the line. And it's unnecessary. And I don't know. If I could describe this movie in 2 words, it was gross and unnecessary. Because it was unnecessarily long, and it was also, if you're going to watch this shit, that's your whole day. I started this thing at 2, and I got done at about 8:30 because I had to shower and eat and like do adult stuff while I was watching this film.
No, that's too long.
It's very long.
That's
and
the thing. You asked me, am I going to watch this? And I was like, no.
Did I? I don't think I asked you that. I think I assumed you weren't gonna because you didn't watch the original Justice League.
Well, no, I forget. Well, when we were talking about doing it for this podcast,
Right.
either you said it or I was thinking about it, but I was like, I'm not fucking watching that.
Yeah, I never expected you to. Well, especially because you haven't seen the, as I'll call it, the Joss Whedon edit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, if you're going to, first of all, don't do this, but if you're going to watch all the DCEU movies in order, you're going to have a marathon, right? Not you, anybody.
Yeah.
Where
Where does this fall in?
the
Is that what you were going to say?
I was just going to say, like, I mean, they clearly don't care about this, but as far as continuity goes,
Right.
I'd watch the other one.
Right.
Because a lot of stuff in this one happens that is going to have no payoff because this is a standalone weird, like, side project that they did.
It's almost like they have no clue how to make movies over at DCEU.
Also, Superman, I'm sure you saw the trailers, he's wearing a black suit.
Yeah.
Which he didn't in the first one, the first time around. He dies in BVS. So this movie has the return of Superman, the dreadful return of Superman arc from the comics. This is essentially that because he comes back from the grave, right? Literally. But the black suit in the comics is not the return of Superman suit. The return of Superman suit was the normal suit, but he has long hair now. The black suit represents other stuff, and it was a weird choice. And in the nightmare scene, the end credits nightmare scene that may or may not be canonical, he was back in the normal suit. He wasn't in the black suit anymore. I don't know.
Sounds like watching this was a waste of time.
Listen, yes, it was. For me personally, watching this was a waste of time. It did a lot of good. It did a lot of unnecessary. Like and I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't better because at the end of the day, I think it was better, but I think there was so much that hilariously enough could have been cut.
Right.
Also, I'm so glad I remembered this. The movie was in 4:3 and not widescreen or 16:9. The movie was like this.
Oh, no.
Like the first couple episodes of WandaVision.
Yeah.
And the before the movie starts, there is a message on screen that says this movie is being shown in 4:3 to better represent Zack Snyder's original vision.
What?
That was the first thing they show. So immediately I was like, well, fuck right off. No movie should be. This movie was not shot in 4:3.
Right.
And also, it's got, like, some scenes weren't shot at all because they were all special effects. 100% special effects, right?
Right.
So I don't understand. Also, they're talking about releasing a black and white version of this film.
Why?
Because that's how he wanted it to be seen. He wanted it to be watched in black and white in 4:3.
It sounds like he's insane.
It sounds like he's a shitty director. I'm sorry about the tragedy you lived through, and I'm sure you're an amazing dude who has a lot of care in his heart. Stop making movies, for the love of God. I've never seen one I enjoy. Have you ever seen Sucker Punch?
No.
It is a drug trip. It is like 6 distinctive drug trips that you have to go on to watch that film. Not a good filmmaker. Made a 4-hour film, though, that I did sit through. Couple notes before we wrap up. Amy Adams continues to be the worst Lois Lane of all time. Jared Leto continues to be the worst Joker of all time. The movie didn't have Margot Robbie in it, so it's already at a 1 out of 10 for that. Don't know why we had to.
Damn.
I don't know why we had to break it up into parts. There was a really weird extended scene with the Flash that was unnecessary and kind of broke up the momentum of the movie. All the cyborg stuff was really cool and should have been in the movie the first time around. and we're never getting another Snyder. Like, Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke is not going to appear in another film.
Right.
So I don't know why we brought him back to, like, do it again. Tease the next thing again, even though it's not going to happen.
Right.
Because remember, there was going to be a Ben Affleck directed Batman where he was Batman and the villain was Deathstroke, and they totally scrapped that. Now they're doing this Robert Pattinson thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke is a teaser for a thing is still not going to happen.
Yeah.
But we're teasing it again. I think the extended. I'm not even joking. It was like a 7-minute long nightmare scene at the end of this film that just kind of felt like it felt like he was like, I could though, DC HBO, I could, and DC HBO is like, all right, we gave you this, just calm down. But yeah, that was that. Don't watch it unless you really, really feel like you need to. If you haven't seen the DCEU movies and you're making your way through them, just watch the Whedon cut or whatever we're fucking calling it. And if they make a 2-hour version of this film, I'll check back in then, because I'm definitely going to watch it and see what they did, and it's probably going to be a better movie.
Shots fired.
By me?
Yeah.
What did I say?
I meant to say that like 10 minutes ago when we were just shitting on the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
And all that. You definitely came around, but just you gave him your all. You told him what you were thinking.
I love the Joker, and I love Harley Quinn, and the Suicide Squad did them dirty. And
yeah.
they said, I know what I'll do. I'll bring back the Joker from the Suicide Squad for this one, and he's still terrible. He's still terrible, and he should feel terrible. And now let's switch things over to still Batman, but a much more positive Batman experience.
Yeah. You told me about this fan-made film.
Yes.
That came out, and I did watch it.
I watched it. I've seen it twice now.
I really enjoyed it. It's quality-wise, it seemed like it was just under what you would expect from the TV shows.
Yes, yeah. So,
which was impressive.
So, the YouTube channel is called Bat in the Sun Productions.
Yeah.
And this is actually their
third,
but the first one is just a fight between two characters.
Oh, okay. I started watching one. It was like a half hour long.
Yeah, that one was the second one. That one I did watch that one too. That one was good. It wasn't as good as this one. The Joker was not played by the same person. But that's not why it wasn't as good. It just wasn't as good. Batman Dying is Easy, though, is their newest production. A Kickstarter happened, I think, in 2018, and they've been making it ever since. It was about 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it actually had some famous people in it. Did you notice?
I can't remember now.
The guy who played Hugo Strange was Chris Daughtry, the country singer.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that.
And I forget his name, but the guy who played Bullock, the guy who played the detective that he was talking to at the beginning on the roof, was like a character actor from TV.
Oh, okay.
Essentially, if I could just go over the plot real quick because it's super short, Batman gets a call from Bullock, and Bullock is like, the Joker is dying. He's asking to see you. So Batman goes to Arkham Asylum, and he runs into like every person he's ever fought at least once. And then him and the Joker have like a 10-15 minute conversation about their relationship and their legacy, and basically Joker's not dying because Batman like poisoned him to like try and get some information out about him. Oh, the guy who was playing the Riddler was Doug Jones, the guy who plays Abe Sapien in Silver Surfer and all them. Yeah, that was him too. The woman who played Poison Ivy is a cosplayer, Instagram influencer who is most well known for cosplaying Poison Ivy.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was neat too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have these characters in the background, might as well just get people like that, right?
Yeah, totally. It was really good. I think you were gonna talk about it some, but I really liked the Joker.
Yeah. Oh well, he did an amazing job
Yeah.
as the Joker. He did fantastic. Just what an actor to do all that with just his face, the way he contorted his face.
Yeah.
I was like, he's holding that for so long.
He really had a good like, this fucked up face is how the Joker always looks face.
Yeah, like that. Actually, you have a poster behind you. I mean, that's literally what he looked like.
Yeah.
No, he did a great job. The guy who did Batman did a great job. Whoever did the effects did a great job, considering the budget they probably had.
Yeah,
you know,
because you gotta. Yeah, yes, exactly. Because this was Kickstarter, so you gotta consider that they had a It wasn't like you said. It was kind of TV quality. It wasn't the greatest special effects.
Yeah,
But I didn't expect any special effects, to be honest.
Right.
And the maybe the green screen work left a little to be desired, but like the film looked awesome.
Yep.
I think it looked great.
They chose to go with the '90s Batmobile.
Yes, they
Which was
did.
interesting.
Yeah.
I wanna point out a discrepancy, assuming that the first film and the second film are in the same universe.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn in the first one, I didn't
Doesn't
finish
have
the
an
first
accent.
One, doesn't
Yeah.
have an accent. This one she does. He has the opportunity to do what the people over at Suicide Squad are too cowardice to do, and say that it was intentional. that's her going between personalities.
Yeah. They do that shit in.
You also noticed that though.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh yeah. I
cool.
noticed it right away. Harley's got one voice, and she don't got that voice in the first movie.
Yeah.
City of Chaos, I think it's called. I'm not sure. They do that shit in Batman Telltale Riddle Me Piss or whatever the fuck that game is called. It's the one that's like, it's the Riddler. It's not the Riddler. Enemy Within. That's what it's called. Telltale Batman and the Enemy Within. Harley Quinn's in that, and they do that on purpose. The Joker is even like, I love the way that her accent is normal sometimes and sometimes not. That's one of those things where it's like, that could be cool, but I don't think that's what Margot Robbie was doing. I think she just sucks.
I don't think that's what Bat in the Sun Productions had in mind either, but they could turn it around.
They could, yeah.
If they cared enough. I mean, it sounds like they're just making passionate
Oh, yeah.
films and, like, they're not worried. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think continuity within their own little Batman universe is something they're too concerned about. Maybe
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're just trying to make some good Batman stories.
Yeah. And it's a bold choice in 2021, and I'm sure 2019 when this was written, right? It's a bold choice to have the Joker bring up Jason Todd and Barbara Gordon, because as far as the comics are concerned, those are two different Jokers.
Right.
And what this movie presupposes is, no, it is in fact the same Joker, which is interesting, for sure.
Yeah.
And it really, this is what the DC EU has been missing with Batfleck. This movie, at the end of the day, was all about how good of a person Batman is. What Batman's trying to do is he's trying to get the Joker to reveal the location of these people, and it turns out those people are dead. But then it turns out that Batman knew that those people were dead. He just wanted their bodies to be found so that the families could have a peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
That is some shit that, when that happened, I was like, this is what Batman should be.
Right.
Not this fucking, like, oh no, drove a car through a dude. Whatever. I've got to kill Superman. Which, like, you can have a Batman that wants to kill Superman, but, like, can you also make him charming and considerate and follow the one fucking goddamn rule that he's always followed? And maybe not drop an F-bomb for no reason. No, I really liked it. I liked who they got to play Batman. He played Batman in the original one, too, the first time.
Yeah. That's why I kind of assumed he was involved in production.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But the guy who made it, the director, writer, producer, he played the Joker. And sometimes with things like this, you'll see that. You'll see like writer, director, producer, main character, all the same name, and you're like, it really seems like you were probably controlling, and you were like, no, I'll do it. But whatever the case was, he did an exceptional job as the Joker. So whoever's idea it was, whether it was his or someone else's, to have him play the Joker, it was great. It was definitely the biggest takeaway from that movie, was how good of a Joker he was.
Yeah, Batman did a fine job. He definitely eclipsed everybody with his Joker, though.
If you are interested in watching this, it's free on YouTube, on the Bat in the Sun YouTube channel. And it's only about, I think, 25 minutes. Oh, what did you think of the after the credits scene?
Oh, remind me.
It was Catwoman.
Oh, yeah.
It was just random. That was the only part I didn't like. Nothing happened.
Yeah, it didn't have anything to do with the story they were telling.
And there was no dialogue.
Right. And I think that's what I was trying to say. Like, I don't think they care about continuity or whatever. I think they're just trying to I think what they're saying is, hey, we have an idea for our next one. Catwoman's going to be in it.
That would be cool. Batman / Catwoman, will they, won't they, fuck fighting is like a tired concept, but one that I think Bat in the Sun production could do well and make it interesting again.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me, it gives me the nostalgic 90s Batman feels all over. Just the art direction, obviously the use of that Batmobile, and just the fact that these movies, it's not a continued story.
Right.
It's just one-offs, essentially, and that's okay.
Are you talking about the Tim Burton Batmans?
Yes.
1 and 2? And Yeah. That was another thing they cut out of the Snyder cut. There's a line, and I guess I'm glad about this one, but there's a line in the original Justice League where Alfred says, I long for the days where all one cared about was wind-up penguins, and it was like, are you trying to tell me that this is all the same?
Right.
Shut the fuck up, Alfred. No. What?
It's just stupid. It's just stupid.
What, all of it?
Well, no, just they just don't. See, Bat in the Sun Productions doesn't care about continuity. DC put the word universe in their title, which makes it sound like it's all related.
But then they
do
release
something
but
about
then
it.
But then they have throwaway lines like that.
That's what I'm saying.
And then they have the Joker movie that is apparently not part of the same. We have 2 people playing the Joker and 2 people playing Batman. And I think it's 3 different universes.
Yeah.
That we have to worry about. And like, obviously, Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, and the new Suicide Squad movie take place in the universe of BVS, because you have Ben Affleck as Batman in Suicide Squad, and then you have the Suicide Squad's Joker show up in the Snyder cut.
Right.
So, and then Margot Robbie is, of course, in the Birds of Prey movie. So it could be assumed that they're all in the same universe, but like, and Diana, right? But like, what does that say of Shazam? What does that say of this new Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie? It's just a mess, and it's a mess that I don't think they care enough to clean up. Ooh, big yawn.
It says fuck DC movies. That's what it says.
What, the big yawn?
No, just what is it? You asked what does it say about...
Oh, yeah.
That's what it says.
I will say, I talked about this on probably a podcast that was out by the time this comes out, but I am excited for that new Suicide Squad movie.
I know you
but
are.
Only because James Gunn.
Yeah.
James Gunn does... I mean, the last time he did an ensemble cast superhero movie that was kind of a comedy, it was Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was like my favorite MCU movie for a couple years when it came out. So the fact that Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn is still in this movie is not enough to draw me away from not watching it. Like, I want to see it, and I want to see what happens.
I hated Suicide Squad.
Me too. It's one of my least favorite movies of all time, probably.
Yeah, it was bad. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you watch it, and I'm gonna hear what you thought, and then if it wasn't a steaming pile of shit that I think it's gonna be, maybe
you still have no
I'll
faith
watch
that
it.
It'll be good with James Gunn?
No, you can't make a fresh burger with rotten meat.
Okay. I mean, there's only a little in my head. There's only a little rotten meat, and it's Harley Quinn.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Suicide Squad was always a weird choice anyways. When they started this whole, like, we're doing a cinematic universe thing, and they were like, we got plans for Batman. I mean, we got plans for Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad. I was like, okay, fuck the Flash, I guess. And now we're in a universe where there's a second Suicide Squad movie, and we haven't even seen a trailer for the Flash movie.
Yeah. I just think they dropped the ball instantly.
Oh, yeah.
With this universe. I think they jumped the gun, maybe, even. And,
the gun with two ends.
Yes.
They jumped the James gun.
Yeah. And, every single one that I see annoys me a little bit.
What would you say, you haven't seen many, but what would you say is the best DCEU movie you've seen?
Pass.
Pass?
No, I guess Wonder Woman.
Okay. I still say give Shazam a try. It was really good. I liked it a lot. When this, I'm glad you said it because I was going to say this too. When this Suicide Squad movie comes out, I will watch it, and then I will give you my spoiler-free. Here's how it was, because I would like to do an episode of this podcast about it because it's one of the, new HBO Max movie a month.
Yeah. We'll see.
Thing.
I keep forgetting about that. I will not have to go anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
To watch this, so
yeah.
maybe I'll give it a shot. Just talking about it.
It's got a lot of characters in it that I really like, that I've wanted to see for a while, and it's got a lot of actors in it that I really like. They got Peter Capaldi to play the Thinker. That is like perfect casting as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll do it for us. Don't watch the Snyder Cut unless you feel like you really have to. Do watch Bat in the Sun's Batman Dying is Easy because it's free and it was also really good. Just talking about it, probably going to watch it again tonight. And don't watch the Suicide Squad movie. Never watch the Suicide Squad movie.
You've been warned.
Like, you're hearing us talk about how bad it was and you're like, and you've never seen it and you're like, maybe I'll watch it. Don't. It's not worth it. You're going to be disappointed in a lot of different things, including but not limited to Will Smith.
Almost got through this whole podcast without mentioning him.
Almost, but he's just sort of the worst part of that film. No, I can't say that. There's a lot of bad in that, but he's also pretty bad. It's a bad film, and it's bad acted and bad directed, and it's terrible, and I hate it, and you should too. But don't watch it if you haven't watched it. This was not an endorsement to. It's not like it sucks, but whatever. Like if you wanted to watch Gods of Egypt, I'd be like, yeah, sure, throw it on. We'll fucking make fun of it. But like Suicide Squad is terrible. Absolutely not. Don't watch it. And until next time, I've been Thunder.
I'm Lightning.
Stay safe, stay clean, and we'll see you next time.
Hi.
Let's keep this brief.
For the month of April, we'll be conducting
our biggest contest and giveaway yet.
The goal?
Help us reach 200 subscribers on YouTube and 35 followers on Twitch.
Here's what you can get if these goals are met.
Please make sure to follow, subscribe, and share this video with your friends.